There was something wrong with the woman at the gas station. I couldn't explain it. She smiled. She was polite. But when I told her where we were staying, the color drained from her face. Then she quietly said, "If the porch light turns on, don't answer the door." At first I thought she was joking. By midnight I realized she wasn't. Me and Ethan rent a cheap cabin online. The place sits at the end of a winding mountain road. Dense woods surround it. The trees lean over the road, like old men whispering secrets. The farther they drive, the quieter everything becomes. No traffic, no houses, no cell service. Just rain tapping the windshield like restless fingers. The cabin itself seems normal. Old, weathered. A little neglected but cheap. Too cheap. Inside the cabin is a handwritten note, not from the owner. No welcome message, no Wi-Fi password. Just one sentence. If the porch light turns on after midnight, leave it on. Nothing else. No explanation. Ethan laughs. Calls it a Halloween prank. I smiled and agreed, at least for now. That evening we visit the only diner in town. An old man notices the cabin key. His face tightens. Like someone had just mentioned a dead relative. He asks, "You boys staying at the Granger place?" We say yes. The old man immediately pays his bill and leaves. No explanation, just gone. Like he suddenly remembered somewhere else he needed to be. I wake just around 12:30 a.m. The room is dark, silent. Then I notice light shining through the curtains. The porch light, it's on. Neither of them turned it on. The switch is inside. Ethan insists one of us must have forgotten. Still, neither of us remember touching it. At 1:07 a.m., footsteps, slow, crunching gravel, circling the cabin, not approaching, not leaving, just circling, like something was inspecting the house. The sound continues for nearly an hour. Never knocking, never speaking, just walking. I check outside. No footprints. The ground is mud, rain-soaked. There should be tracks. There are none. Only one thing. The porch light bulb is shattered. Glass scattered across the porch. Yet the light had been working all night. We called the park ranger to report what had happened. The ranger reluctantly tells us the story. 30 years earlier, a family lived there. The Grangers, mother, father, young daughter. One winter night, someone came to the door. The father answered. Nobody knows who was outside. The entire family disappeared. The house sat empty for decades. Locals avoided it. Then eventually it became a rental cabin. At this point, I think it would be best if we leave. But Ethan thinks the town is messing with tourists, so we stay. At 12:14 a.m., the porch light comes on again. This time we watch it happen. The switch physically flips by itself, slowly, like an invisible finger pushed it. Then, a knock, 3 taps, soft, patient, almost polite. We don't answer. Another knock, then another. Then silence. I look through a side window. Something is standing at the edge of the trees, motionless, human-shaped, too far away to identify. Yet somehow I know it's looking directly at the cabin. The next morning we're packing to leave. While loading the truck, I notice something carved underneath the porch railing. Words hidden where nobody would normally look. Fresh. Not old. Not weathered. Recent. The message reads, "The light keeps it away." Below it is a date. Only 3 weeks old. Someone else had stayed there recently. Someone who experienced the same thing. Someone who never told anyone. As we drive out of town, we stop at the gas station again. The same woman is working. I tell her about the strange message. Her expression changes. Not surprise. Recognition. Then she says, "Good," I ask. "Good what?" The woman looks toward the mountains, toward the road leading back to the cabin, then quietly says, "The light worked for you too." The quiet road. I should have known something was wrong when the old man at the bait shop refused to sell us firewood. Not because he was out. There were bundles stacked behind him like tiny coffins wrapped in plastic. He just looked at me, then at Marcus, then at the cabin key sitting on the counter between us. His smile folded in on itself. "You boys staying off Briar Creek Road?" Marcus grinned. "Yeah, cabin rental, couple nights." The old man's eyes moved toward the dark tree line beyond the shop window. The sun was sinking behind the Blue Ridge Mountains, bleeding orange through the pines. "That road gets quiet after dark," he said. I laughed a little. "Isn't that the point?" He didn't laugh back. He slid the key toward me with 2 fingers, like it had something contagious on it. "If somebody knocks," he said, "don't ask who it is." That was all. No explanation, no campfire wood, no friendly mountain town small talk. Just that warning hanging in the air like smoke. Marcus waited until we were back in the truck before he started laughing. "Man, I love places like this," he said. "Everybody acts like they're guarding an ancient curse." I wanted to laugh with him, but something about that old man's face stayed with me. His fear didn't feel rehearsed. It didn't feel like local theater for tourists. It looked lived in. Briar Creek Road was barely a road. It twisted through the woods like a black ribbon dropped by someone running. The trees leaned over us, their bare branches scratching at the sky. Every few hundred feet, the headlights caught old fence posts, rotted mailboxes, and ditches full of wet leaves. Then the GPS died. Not lost signal, died. The screen went black. Marcus tapped it twice. Of course, we kept driving because there was nowhere else to go. The road narrowed. The woods thickened. The truck tires crunched over gravel that sounded too loud in all that silence. Then we saw the cabin. It sat alone in a clearing, hunched beneath the trees like it was trying not to be seen. It was nicer than I expected. Dark wood, wide porch, stone chimney, big windows facing the woods. But the place had a stillness to it, not peaceful stillness. The stillness of a room after an argument. Inside, everything looked normal. Leather couch, old quilts, a kitchen with copper pans hanging above the stove. Somebody had even left fresh towels folded on the beds. Then Marcus found the note. It was taped to the inside of the front door. 3 lines written in black marker. Lock both doors. Close every curtain. Do not speak through the walls. Marcus read it out loud and smiled. "Okay, that one's actually good." I took the note from him. The ink looked fresh. That night, rain came down hard. It beat on the roof like handfuls of gravel. Wind moved through the trees, making them groan and bend like old men praying. Around midnight, Marcus passed out on the couch with the TV glowing blue over his face. I was in the bedroom trying to sleep when I heard it. A knock. Not at the front door. From inside the wall, 3 soft taps. I sat up, my heart suddenly awake before the rest of me. Tap, tap, tap. I told myself it was pipes. Old cabins make noise. Wood settles, rain finds gaps. Then a voice whispered through the wall. "Is anyone in there?" My blood went cold. It was a woman's voice, thin, close, like her lips were pressed against the other side of the drywall. I didn't answer. The note flashed in my mind. Do not speak through the walls. I walked slowly into the living room and shook Marcus awake. Before I could explain, the voice came again, this time from the wall behind the couch. "Please, I'm lost." Marcus stared at me. For once, he wasn't laughing. The whisper moved. not faded, moved. From the living room wall to the kitchen wall, then to the hallway, like someone was walking inside the bones of the cabin. Marcus grabbed a kitchen knife. I grabbed my phone even though it had no service. We stood there listening as the voice circled us from inside the walls. "I can hear you breathing," it whispered. Then silence. A deep, hungry silence. The next morning we searched the cabin. No crawl space, no hidden room, no basement entrance. The walls were solid wood and insulation. Outside, the mud around the cabin was smooth, untouched, no footprints, no tire tracks except ours. But every window screen had been sliced from the outside. Clean cuts, top to bottom, like someone had used a razor. That was when we decided to leave. But the truck wouldn't start. Battery dead. Marcus cursed so loud it scattered birds from the trees. We walked 2 miles back toward the bait shop before a gray pickup slowed beside us. The driver was the old man from the day before. He didn't seem surprised. He just looked past us down Briar Creek Road. "You answered it?" he asked. "No," I said. His jaw tightened. "Then why is it following you?" Neither of us spoke. He drove us back to the shop and let Marcus use the landline for a tow. While we waited, I asked him what was out there. He poured coffee into a chipped mug and said, "That cabin used to belong to a woman named Elise Harrow. Her husband built it for her in 1987. Nice man in public, different man behind doors." The rain ticked against the shop windows. "One winter she ran to the neighbors for help," he continued. "Said he had locked her inside the walls." Marcus frowned. "Inside the walls?" The old man nodded. "Sheriff went out there. Husband said she was crazy, said she ran off. Nobody found her." I looked toward the road. The trees beyond the glass swayed slowly like they were listening. "So the cabin's haunted?" Marcus asked. The old man shook his head. "That's what people like to say because it's easier." Before he could explain, the tow truck pulled up. By sunset, our truck was running again. We packed fast, throwing bags into the back seat while the woods darkened around us. The cabin watched from behind us with black windows. As I shut the passenger door, I heard a soft tap. From inside the truck door. Tap, tap, tap. Marcus froze. The dashboard lights flickered, and the radio crackled to life, though neither of us had touched it. A woman's voice filled the cab. Not whispering now, clear, calm, right behind us. "He told everyone I ran away." Marcus slammed the truck into reverse, tires spitting gravel. As we tore down Briar Creek Road, the voice kept speaking through the speakers. "He told them I was crazy." The headlights bounced over the trees. "He told them I was dead." Marcus drove faster. Then the voice softened. "But I was never in the walls." The radio went silent. I turned slowly toward the back seat. At first I saw only our bags. Then something moved beneath Marcus's jacket. A hand. Pale, thin, real. It slid out from under the fabric and pressed one finger to its lips. That was when I understood. The old man had lied. The note had lied. The voice in the walls wasn't trying to get in. It was trying to keep us from finding what was already inside. And from the woods behind us, the cabin's porch light flickered on. Like an eye opening,